Hare Krishna. I offer my humble obeisances to all the devotees at ISKCON Wellington. It brings great happiness to my heart to meet so many devotees at different places and discuss Krishna Katha with them and take some inspiration in my practice of devotional service, seeing their good example. Today we will be discussing something from the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, where Sukadeva Goswami gives a prelude before starting the beautiful episode of Ajamila. At the end of the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami very elaborately described several hellish planets. People who commit sinful activities are punished in hell. And there are 28 hellish planetary systems, prominent ones. And there are specific arrangements made to punish and torture people, sinful people in different ways in those hellish planets. After hearing all these fierce descriptions of various types of hells, Parikshit Maharaj became so compassionate, so overwhelmed. He asked Sukadeva Goswami in the beginning of the 6th canto of Bhagavatam. He gave a quick summary of what he has heard so far, and he said, "My dear Guru, Sukadeva Goswami, how can the humanity be protected from entering the hellish planets? Why humanity? Why not animals, birds?" Parikshit Maharaj is not compassionate on animals and birds. He is compassionate only on human species. Actually, animals and birds and non-human species will not enter hell. They don't have anything called karma. They pass from one body to another body and they transmigrate. And eventually when they come to the human form of life, then all these calculations of karma, papa karma, punya karma, sinful activities, pious activities, entering hell, entering heaven, all this will become relevant to a conditioned soul who has entered the human form of life. But animals don't have this concept of karma. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj specifically asked, how can the humanity be saved from entering hell? He said humanity. He did not say, how can my family, how can the Kuru dynasty be saved from entering hell? He did not ask, how can I avoid hell? Of course, he did not go to hell. Even if by Lord's arrangement, if a devotee has to visit hell, you know what a devotee thinks? Even in hell, I'll chant harekrishna. Lord Shiva said this at the end of 6th canto. It's okay. Lord Shiva said this at the end of 6th canto of Bhagavatam. Narayana para sarve nakutaschana bibhyati swarga pavarga narakeshu api tulyartha darshinaha. Narayana para means devotees who are dedicated to Lord Narayana. Such dedicated devotees of Lord Narayana, nakutaschana bibhyati, they never fear anything. Swarga apavarga narakeshu. Swarga means heaven, apavarga means liberation, naraka means hell. Swarga apavarga narakeshu api tulyartha darshinaha. For them, it's all same. Wherever they go, they practice devotional service unto Krishna. Whomever they meet, they try to inspire them to take to the process of bhakti. So, geographical location doesn't matter for a devotee. Therefore, for a devotee, there is no fear of entering hell or heaven, or attaining liberation, or entering the spiritual world, or being in the material world practicing some bhakti. However, a devotee is paradukha dukhi. A devotee is very compassionate. A devotee cannot tolerate the pain of seeing other living entities in pain. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj is asking, how can the humanity be saved from entering hell? He is not asking about himself. He's not asking about his own dynasty, Kuru dynasty. He's not asking about all the Kshatriyas. A Vaishnava's compassion is all-encompassing. It's not restricted to only a few people. A Vaishnava is compassionate towards everybody. Therefore, he is asking, how can the entire humanity be saved from entering hell? Secondly, a Vaishnava's compassion is very spontaneous. It's all-encompassing, definitely, but it is also spontaneous. Parikshit Maharaj, as soon as he has heard the description of hellish planets, immediately he asked. A Vaishnava, as soon as he hears that someone is undergoing some pain, or witnesses that somebody is undergoing some pain, immediately there's a compassion. There's a feeling of compassion that arises in the heart of a Vaishnava. So a Vaishnava's compassion is very spontaneous, very deep, and all-encompassing. It is directed towards everybody who is suffering. That's why Prahlad Maharaj is also saying in the 7th canto of Bhagavatam, Naivo dvije paraduratya vaitaranya tadvirya gayana mahamrita magna chitta soche tato vimukhache tasa indriyartha maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudhan. He says that, O Lord, I personally have absolutely no problems. Naivo dvije paraduratya vaitaranya. But I have one problem. When I see materialistic people, conditioned souls, rotting in this material existence, pursuing their sense gratificatory desires, maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudha, just like donkeys carry so much loads of clothes on their backs to serve the washerman, who would only feed them a little bit of grass, which the donkey can find anywhere. Similarly, a conditioned soul, even after retaining this valuable human birth, is carrying the burden of Maya Sukha. Maya Sukhaya Bharam Udvahata. Vimudha. Vimudha means very foolish. It's not worth spending a valuable human life for a trivial pleasure of eating, sleeping, mating and defending. So these pleasures of eating, sleeping, mating, defending, they are available even for non-human species. Why we have to spend a valuable, priceless human form of life for worthless pleasures of this material world? Prahlad Maharaj is very compassionate. He is praying to Lord Narasimhadev for the deliverance of such people who are running behind Maya Sukha, like the Modhas. Similarly, Parikshit Maharaj is also very sincerely inquiring, how can the humanity be saved from entering hellish planets? His compassion of a devotee. In the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam, the very first question asked by Vidura is, he was hearing Bhagavatam from Maitreyi Muni. He asked Maitreyi Muni, Soham drunam kshulla sukhaya dukkham mahadgatanam viramaya tasya pravartaye bhagavatam puranam yadaha sakshat bhagavan rishibhyah. He asked, people in this world for kshulla sukha, for meager amount of happiness, mahad dukkham, they are undergoing tremendous amount of distress. How can we stop this? Can you please give us some solution? We need some solution. We can't just have people undergoing tremendous amount of distress for a meager amount of happiness. It's not worth it. Whether it is Vidura or Parikshit Maharaj or Prahlad Maharaj, many great Vaishnavas, they showed extreme degree of compassion on common people, and they do their bit in spreading the process of Bhakti Yoga. That's what Srila Prabhupada has done. Although he was happily practicing devotional service in Vrindavan Dham, and in Vrindavan nobody is even planning to go outside Vrindavan or even to Mathura, many of them. They are happily practicing bhakti, chanting Radhe Radhe, Krishna Krishna. But proper thought. People in the world don't know. Many people in the world don't know what is Vrindavan, who is Krishna, who is Srimati Radharani, what is Srimad Bhagavatam. They don't know. And I need to take this message of Srimad Bhagavatam and go to the Western countries to introduce Vrindavan to them. Therefore, at the age of 70, he came out. He was very comfortable performing his devotional service in Vrindavan, but he took up tremendous amount of troubles to come out of Vrindavan, not in spirit, but physically, so that he can take Vrindavan to all corners of this material world, of this planet. Coming back to Parikshit Maharaj's compassion, he asked, how can the humanity be saved from entering hellish planets? We discussed a little bit about the question. Now let's see what is the answer to this question. Sukadeva Goswami gave answer. He said, my dear Parikshit Maharaj, people enter hellish planets because of committing sinful activities. But before they die, if they perform an atonement, prayashchitta for the sins they have committed, they need not enter hell. Right? So, they have to perform prayashchitta, atonement, karmakandic atonement, by following whatever is prescribed rituals, some puja, japa, vrata, homa, austerity, something they need to do as an atonement, prescribed atonement, and they need not enter hell. Good solution, right? Parikshit Maharaj said, no, not good solution. I don't accept your answer. Guru is giving answer. A disciple is saying, I will not accept your answer. Sometimes Guru may give an answer to test the understanding of the disciple. And an intelligent disciple understands in what mood did Guru give this instruction or give this kind of reply to my question. We cannot take everything that Guru speaks literally. Sometimes Guru may want us to think, deliberate on what he spoke, and then come up with proper understanding. He may want to test us. Guru may not reveal the answer directly. If I say like this, let's see how my disciple responds. So when Sukadeva Goswami gave this answer on Karma Kanda, Parikshit Maharaj said, I just cannot accept this answer. Why? Why you can't accept this answer? He gave an explanation. Parikshit Maharaj gave an explanation. Kvachit nivartate bhadrat, kvachit charati tat punaha, praishchittamatho apartham manye kunjara sochavat. Say, you have committed a sinful action, and to mitigate that sinful reaction, you have performed some atonement process, praishchitta. But what is the guarantee that you will not repeat the same sinful activity again? Because the desire to perform that sinful activity is still there. Kama is there. So as long as sinful desire is there, sinful proclivity is there, the tendency to commit sinful action will be there. And as long as you are committing sinful action, there will be sinful reaction, which is in the form of entering hell. And I also consider this as kunjara shochavat. Manye kunjara shochavat. Kunjara means elephant. An elephant may enter a lake, take bath nicely, splashing water all over its body. But when the elephant comes out of the lake, elephant may throw dirt on its body, all over its body. Then what's the point of taking bath? Similarly, a person may perform a atonement process prescribed in the scriptures only. But after finishing the atonement, if he again commits the same sinful activity, then what's the point? So I don't think this will save them from hellish planets. And sometimes when the prescribed atonement processes are not performed properly according to karma kanda rituals, there may be more repercussions. So he was not impressed with this answer at all. Then Sukadeva Goswami became little impressed. Oh wow, my disciple is very intelligent, he's very thoughtful. He's not blindly accepting what I'm saying, he's cross-questioning. Fine, let me give the second answer. So Sukadeva Goswami gave a second answer. The second answer is Jnana Kanda. People commit sinful activities because of ignorance. If ignorance is destroyed by knowledge, ignorance is avidya. Knowledge is vidya or jnana. If knowledge can destroy ignorance, then they will not perform sinful actions only. If no sinful actions are performed, there is no sinful reaction, there is no entrance into hell. Therefore, we have to cultivate jnana, knowledge. And he also gives a big list of processes how to cultivate knowledge. Cultivating knowledge requires some mind control, some sense control, some study of Vedic scriptures, surrendering to Guru, many other rules and regulations. So cultivate jnana, knowledge, and thus destroy ignorance, and thus stop sinful activities, and thus avoid sinful reactions, and thus avoid entering into hell. This is the answer. Even Kunti Maharani says in the 8th chapter of first canto of Bhagavatam, in her prayers, Bhavesmin klishyamananam avidya kama karmabhi shravana smaranarhani karishyan iti kechana. Bhavesmin klishyamananam. In this world, people undergo so many kleshas. Klesha means difficulty. Why? Avidya, because of ignorance. Avidya leads to kama, means material desire. Material ignorance leads to material desire. Avidya leads to kama. Kama leads to karma. Karma is material action. Karma leads to klesha, material reaction in the form of suffering. Avidya, kama, karma, klesha. This is the sequence. When avidya is destroyed, when ignorance is destroyed, when people get knowledge, then there is no need to enter hell. This is what our Sukadeva Goswami established in his second answer. But Parikshit rejected it also. Just with mere silence. Sukadeva Goswami gave a beautiful analogy also. Venugulmam ivanala. Venugulmam means bamboo bushes. Anala means fire. When fire burns bamboo bushes, then all the bamboos will just become ashes. Similarly, knowledge is like fire that burns all sinful reactions. Like this, bamboo bushes are burnt, sinful reactions are burned in fire. Jnanagni dagdha karmanam. Jnanagni can do dagdha, means can completely smash, burn to ashes all the karmas. You need not enter hell. But Parikshit was not impressed with this answer also. You know why? Although the bamboo bushes are burned to ashes because of fire of knowledge, although the bamboo bushes of sinful reactions are burned to ashes because of fire of knowledge, still, when there are favorable conditions, the bamboo bushes can grow again because the roots are not burnt yet. Right? Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj was not inspired by this answer. Although knowledge can destroy ignorance, how many people avoid doing mistakes despite having knowledge? Many people have knowledge. This can be done, this should not be done, this must be done, this must be avoided at any cost. People have this knowledge, but still they commit mistakes. Although people know cigarette smoking is injurious to health, they have knowledge. Everybody has knowledge. In fact, most people in the planet who are smoking, they know it may spoil their health, but still they do it. Alcohol consumption can cause cancer. Many people know this, but still people want to do it. Ignorance is not the cause of every mistake that we do. Ignorance is not the cause of every mistake that we do. We commit mistakes even in knowledge. We know what I am doing is wrong. We know if I do this wrong thing, I will get this reaction. Still we do it. Why? There is some attachment to that activity. There is some kind of pleasure which one derives in performing that activity. So being addicted to that pleasure, they ignore the fact that they may have to suffer in future also. So knowledge is not the solution also. Yes, knowledge is definitely to some degree a solution. Not that we have to be in ignorance. We need to cultivate knowledge, but it's not the ultimate solution. So karma kanda rejected, jnana kanda rejected. Then Sukadeva Goswami became more impressed with the disciples' mood and gave the third answer. You know what is the third answer? Kechit kevalaya bhaktya.
Kechit kevalaya bhaktya.
Vasudeva parayana.
Vasudeva parayana.
Agham dhunvanti karsnena.
Agham dhanvantri kasena.
Niharamiva bhaskara.
Niharamiva bhaskara.
Kechit kevalaya bhaktya. By doing kevala bhakti unto Lord Vasudeva, you know what happens? Agham dhunvanti karsnena. Agham means sins. Karsnena means completely. Dhunvanti means washed away. All the sins are completely vanquished and washed away by doing kevala bhakti. Pure devotional service unto the Supreme Lord Govinda Vasudeva. Again he gave an example. Karmakanda example is Kunjara Shauchavat, elephant bath. Jnanakanda example is Venugulmam Ivanala, which is like burning of bamboo bushes. But Bhakti Yoga example is Niharamiva Bhaskara. Nihara means a drop of dew. Bhaskara means sun. When the sun is shining so brightly in the sky, can a drop of dew exist? It is evaporated. It is extinguished completely. Similarly, when the sun of Bhakti is shining in the heart of a sincere devotee, sincere practitioner of devotional service, sins cannot exist. Sinful reactions cannot exist. Sinful actions cannot exist. Sinful desires cannot exist. Ignorance also cannot exist. By doing bhakti, you will automatically acquire knowledge. Vasudeve bhagavati bhakti yoga prayochitah janayatyasu vairagyam gnanam chayata haitukam. By doing Vasudeva bhakti, jnana and vairagya will automatically come to a devotee. So, jnana is included in bhakti. But bhakti may not be included in jnana. You may have knowledge about something or someone, but you may not love that person. But if you love somebody, you will definitely know that person, isn't it? So, bhakti includes jnana, but jnana may not include bhakti. Although we have some knowledge about Krishna, we may not know everything about Krishna, and we need not know everything about Krishna. It's not possible also. Even Krishna cannot know himself completely. So, we need to know as much as it is possible for us to know about Krishna. And as much as it is required for us to completely surrender our hearts to Krishna, that much you know. You may not know all the pastimes that Krishna does in all the universes, in all the millenniums. How can we know? Even one Bhagavatam, which is just 18,000 shlokas, becomes like 2 volumes. 18,000 shlokas, my God, too much. These are like the essence of the essence of the essence of the essence. Saka Akhila Shruti Saramekam. All Shrutis, if you have to study, how much time and how much energy and how much intellectual bandwidth is required from our side. But there is not so much expectation from us to become scholars or philosophers. Just have simple devotion and acquire knowledge as much as you can about Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Lila. Not speculative knowledge, but devotional knowledge, spiritual knowledge about Krishna's attributes, Krishna's names, forms, and other attributes of Krishna. And thus fall in love with Krishna. Offer your hearts to Krishna. Read Bhagavad Gita. And what is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Take sharan of Krishna. Knowledge means not just knowing things. Knowledge should ultimately lead to application of things. If you don't apply, I know the shloka, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Okay, you know it, but what are you doing about it? Have you taken shelter of Krishna? Are you doing this mamekam sharanam vraja? Have you taken exclusive shelter of Krishna by giving up everything else? Then you know Bhagavad Gita. Krishna said, Manmana bhav madbhakta madhya jimam namaskuru. I know this shloka. I wrote this in my Bhakti Shastra exam. I got 50 out of 50 in my exam. You know that? But how much are we doing Manmana? How much are we doing Madhyaji? So, knowledge is not just knowing things. The real knowledge is to implement things, apply that knowledge, put that knowledge into action. And that is Bhakti. Develop spiritual knowledge about Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela and convert that knowledge into realization by actually engaging yourself in service, devotional service unto Krishna. By applying whatever you have learned. That is Bhakti. And then Bhakti includes Jnana. Bhakti includes karma also. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, Mat karma krin mat paramo mat bhaktaha sangavarjitaha. Mat karma krin, Krishna said. What is this karma? This is not punya karma, papa karma. Mat karma. Krishna says, Mat karma means my activity. What are Krishna's activities? Worshipping Krishna, Sravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. These are Krishna's activities. That is Mat karma. Studying Bhagavad Gita, studying Bhagavatam, worshipping Krishna, Krishna's deity form, going to dhams. These are all Krishna-related activities. There is Papa karma, there is Punya karma. Both are on material plane. But there is Bhakti karma, which is on spiritual plane. One is pious activity, second is impious activity. But third is spiritual activity. Let's do spiritual activities. Activity is there in spiritual life. But that's a spiritual activity. Not pious or impious activity on a material plane. Right? So when we do this kind of karma, devotional karma, bhakti karma, we are elevated to spiritual plane. When we have devotional knowledge, spiritual knowledge, bhakti jnana, not some speculative jnana, then we are elevated to spiritual plane. So this is what is emphasized by Sukadeva Goswami in the beginning of 6th canto of Bhagavatam. And Parikshit Maharaj was completely impressed with this answer. Kichit kevalaya bhaktya. Only by kevala bhakti you can avoid entering hell. By doing kevala bhakti, it's not that we will just avoid entering hell. We will attain Krishna prema. Avoiding hell is like very small, very little byproduct of performing bhakti. The ultimate product of performing bhakti is attaining Krishna prema. To fall in love with Krishna. To experience love of Krishna. To express love for Krishna and to experience the love of Krishna is bhakti. And that's what impressed the heart of our dear Parikshit Maharaj. Then our dear Sukadeva Goswami continued the discussion. You know what he said? Sakran manaha Krishna padaravindayor vachamsi vai Sakran manaha Krishna padaravindayor niveshitam tad gunaragiyiriha nate yamam pasha bhratascha tad bhatan swapnepi pashyanti chirna nishkritaha. He said, Sakran manaha Krishna padaravindayor. If you Sakran manaha, if you remember the lotus feet of Krishna or remember the qualities of Krishna within your mind even once, Sakran means even once. This is the 19th sloka of 6th canto, 1st chapter. Even once if you remember Krishna's qualities sincerely and meditate on his lotus feet and perform his bhakti or hear about his pastimes. Niveshitam tad gunaragiyiriha. If you absorb your minds in the qualities of Krishna. Nate yamam pasha bhratascha tad bhatan. One need not come in contact with the Yamapasha. You understand Yamapasha? Yamaraj captures, or Yamadutas. Yamabhatan means Yamadutas capture sinful living entities with their pasha, with their ropes, and drag them to hell. Swapnepi pashyanti chirna nishkrutaha. Even in your dreams, you need not see Yamadutas. Without Yamadutas taking us to hell, nobody will go to hell. Any volunteers? Any volunteers can go to hell? You may just plan your trip to multiple places on the planet, in the 14 planetary systems, but nobody would voluntarily make a trip. Okay, book tickets to hell. Okay, 7 days visit, 1 week visit there. Nobody would voluntarily go there. Yamaraj sends Yamadutas to forcefully drag the sinful living entities to hellish planets. But if we remember the qualities of Krishna, in short, if we perform bhakti unto Krishna, then we need not see Yamadutas even in dreams. That's why we can avoid hell. Chirna nishkritaha. By sincerely practicing bhakti, you have accomplished all kinds of atonements. There is no separate karmakandic atonement required to avoid hell. Just chant Hare Krishna, you can easily avoid hell and enter, not heaven, the spiritual world. And as an example to this beautiful shloka, he spoke this entire episode of Ajamila. As you know, Ajamila, he was a nice Brahman. He knows Shastras. He was respectful towards seniors, his parents. So one day he went to collect some puja paraphernalia, for worshipping the Lord, into the forest. When he was coming back, he saw some scene which is not very common in those days. It's a prostitute and a low-class man publicly embracing each other and behaving little unmentionably. And Ajamil saw that scene and he became very affected by it. He was remembering all the dharmic instructions and all the injunctions of the Shastras within his heart, within his mind. But somehow the impressions of this scene haunted him. So he saw it, he was affected for a while, and he cleared that place. Let me just leave from here. Although he left the place, what he has seen in the place did not leave his mind. Many times, we may physically stay away from something harmful, but the impressions of those things may stay within the mind for a longer time. Therefore, meditating on sense gratificatory impressions, sensory visuals, is not very good for our advancement in bhakti. That's why Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Dhyayato vishayan pumsam sangasteshopajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho bhijayate. Dhyayato vishayan pumsam. Dhyana means meditation, deep thinking. When we deeply think about some sensory visuals, sangasteshopajayate, will develop deep attachment to them. Sangat sanjayate kama. And because of that attachment, kama, desire will develop. Kamat krodho bhijayate. When that kama is not fulfilled, you'll get krodha. If the kama is fulfilled, what will happen? The desire is finished? No. Lobha will come. That's why Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, later chapters, Trividham narakasyedam dvaram nashanamatmanah Kamaha krodhastatha lobha tasmadetattrayam tyajet. There are 3 gateways to hell. We are discussing how to avoid hell, right? So remember this shloka also. Trividham narakasyedam. Naraka or hell has 3 doors. 1, kama, desire. Desire to enjoy on a material plane. When that kama is not fulfilled, when the desire is not fulfilled, it will lead to krodha. Krodha means intense anger, frustration, right? Anger upon frustration, that is krodha. If that kama is fulfilled, then lobha, greed, more desire. So when you try to enjoy in a material plane, and if you happen to enjoy, you look forward for that enjoyment more and more. Never think that by indulging in sense gratification, your desires are pacified. I'll be satisfied. Once I'll indulge, I'll be satisfied. I'm happy. No more desire. Let me fulfill all the desires. There's nothing like fulfillment of desire in this material world. There is no fulfillment of desire in this material world at all. In this material world, Maya ensures that when you engage in the activity of fulfilling a particular desire, Maya will induce a deeper desire, more desire, lobha. Maya will induce a deep hankering within you. Because that so-called fulfillment of desire actually does not satisfy the heart. Isn't it? We are spirit souls. As spirit souls, our real satisfaction is in performing devotional service unto Krishna. Aituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. Only by unmotivated and uninterrupted devotional service, our heart is completely pleased. So our hearts, the souls, are meant to be enjoying or deriving satisfaction on a spiritual plane, not on material plane. Any amount of material sense gratification cannot satisfy the heart. Your indulgence in sense gratificatory activities will only induce more hankering for that enjoyment. Because one indulgence did not satisfy you. Although you thought, oh, this is very nice. Let me have it again. Even if you have it 100 times or 1,000 times, you feel like having it more. Because you never had it. You never had that enjoyment only. But it's like Prahlad Maharaj gives this example. Kanduyanena karayor eva dukkha dukkham. Kanduyanena karayor means you have some little itching sensation on your hand. And you just scratch it. You find some relief, isn't it? When you remove your fingernails, it's not that your itching sensation is gone. You feel like scratching even more. You scratch some more. Then you find some relief. Take out your hand, the itching sensation is still there. Scratch more. more. The more you scratch, the more you feel relief. But as soon as you take out your fingernails, you feel like scratching even more. Means the scratching is not satisfying. In fact, the scratching is aggravating your desire to scratch. Not just aggravating your desire to scratch, it is also worsening the wound. If you go to any doctor saying that I have some itching sensation here, will the doctor prescribe? Daily 100 times you have to scratch. did you ever get such a prescription? He will give some ointment or injection or tablet for the infection. He will never recommend that you keep on scratching with your nails. If nails are not sufficient, you will take some brush with some wires. Like we brush our cows. In the GV, we brush our cows. You take that brush and then scratch yourself. Nobody will recommend like that. There is some infection there. You just put some ointment, and don't scratch. You will even say, don't scratch. So don't use your nails. You will say that. And if it's a little infectious, if you scratch somewhere else, that infection will come there also. Come here also. Everywhere it comes. So, trying to fulfill sense gratificatory desires will not give us satisfaction. It will only give us more hankering to fulfill those desires. Kama, when it is fulfilled, leads to lobha. Kama, when it is not fulfilled, it leads to krodha. Anger. Desire, when fulfilled, leads to greed. Desire, when not fulfilled, leads to frustration. Anger. So people, they have desire for money, for example. Kama, for artha. They earn some money, but they feel, I think I need more money. More money. They have one gadget. Oh, I want the next model, upgraded model. They keep on upgrading the models. And one model is not used for even 6 months also. Next model can find. Next, one more. Keep on upgrading. So we have never experienced it, the existing model. But some people, they use 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10 years, they will use that. It's functioning. We discard it only when it is not functioning. Right? Not that there is another thing that came. So like that, the material world induces a lot of desire to enjoy. And here is Ajamila. He saw this scene, sensual scene, and that haunted him. You know what he did? He gave up his wife, who is very beautiful, cultured, and coming from a respectable family, and started living with a prostitute. He has given up his parents. He has given up his service to his parents, and he started using all his father's property to fulfill the desires of that lady. And in this way, he lived 88 years of his life, committing so many sinful activities. When his property is exhausted, he needs money. You know how he would get that money? He will cheat people. He will rob people. He will engage in some kind of gambling. He will beat them. He will loot them. And thus, through so many sinful means, he acquired his money to maintain his sinful family, living a degraded life with a prostitute. In this way, 88 years of his life passed. But one good fortune in Ajamil is, because of whatever little bit of bhakti he has done in the past, he named his young son Narayana, youngest son Narayana. At the age of 88, he had a small toddler, maybe 2-3-year-old boy. He's not even speaking well, maybe 1 or 2 years. Exact age is not mentioned. See, that is the extent of lust. At the age of 88 years also, at such old age also one can have sense gratification. That's why Padyavali says, Kashayanna cha bhojanadi niyaman novavane vasato vyakhyanadathava munivrata chittodbhavakshiyate kintu spitakalinda shailatanaya क्रीडे च विक्रीडतो तीरे च विक्रीडतो गोविन्दस्य पदारविन्द भजनारम्भस्य लेशादपि काषायान्न च भोजनादि नियमान्. Kashaya means saffron. If you wear saffron cloth, will the lust be destroyed? Will the material desires be eradicated? No, not necessary. Kashayanna cha bhojanadi niyaman. If you control your diet, if you restrict your food intake, will that control your lust? Not necessary. Yeah, all this will help in some way, but it's not necessary. Bhojanadi niyaman. Nova vaneva sato. If you give up your lavish palaces and enter into some secluded forests and live there like sages, will that destroy lust? Not necessary. Kashayanna cha bhojanadi niyaman novavane vasato vyakhyanadathava buddhivrata bhara chittodbhavakshiyati. Vyakhyana. If you read so much philosophy and so many commentaries, will that destroy lust? Not necessary. Munivrata bharat. You start observing vows of silence like a sage. Will that destroy lust and material desire in the heart? Not necessary. Chittodbhavakshiyate. The Cupid, the Madana, Kamadev has completely captivated the minds of so many conditioned souls and is not allowing them to function normally like souls, but they are functioning like ghosts, functioning because of being embodied in a material body. Their functioning is mainly to pursue sense gratification. Kintu spitakalinda shailatanaya tire cha vikridato. But if you focus your mind on that Supreme Lord Govinda, who is happily performing all his pastimes on the bank of Yamuna river, Kintu spitakalinda shailatanaya tire cha vikridato Govindasya padaravinda bhajanarambhasya leshadapi. You perform bhajan of Govinda. Govindasya padaravinda bhajana. Leshadapi. Even if you slightly begin the practice of devotional service to the lotus feet of Lord Govinda, who performs wonderful enchanting pastimes on the bank of Yamuna river, lust will go. That's the only way. That's why Sukadeva Goswami concluded, saying, Kechit kevalaya bhaktya vasudeva parayanaha agham dhanvanti kartsnyena niharameva bhaskara. Only by kevala bhakti unto Lord Govinda, Lord Vasudeva, all the material desires will go away, material actions will be vanquished, material reactions are not even possible. No need to enter hell. Right? But Ajamil, he left bhakti. He left it. He's not like a pure devotee earlier also, but he had some kind of spiritual background. But he left all that. and he started associating with the prostitute. But because of some good fortune, he named his son Narayana, and he became attached to Narayana. And he started chanting Narayana, 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 Narayana all the way with great affection. Whenever he's eating, he would call, Narayana, come and eat with me. Fine. Whenever he's drinking something, Narayana, come, this beverage is so nice, drink along with me. Whenever he's sleeping in the night, he would say, Narayana, it's getting late, come and sleep. With so much of affection, he would call his son. That's affectionate chanting the name of Narayana. And because he has committed so many sinful activities with his body, mind and words, 3 Yamadutas came to take him to hell at the age of 88. He was lying on his deathbed. He is calling out, Narayana, 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 Narayana. Out of affection for his son. But Narayana did not come. He saw these 3 Yamadutas. They were very fierce. With ropes in their hands, they tried to arrest Ajamila, take away his soul to hell. They had twisted faces. They had deformed figures. Ajamila was very, very fearful. And Ajamila wanted to escape from these Yamadutas, and out of fear, he is calling out the name of Narayana. Whenever you are fearful, you generally call out the name of the person who is very dear to you, right? In that mode, Ajamila is calling Narayana, 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 come, come. But that little child, who is a toddler, is playing nearby. He is not even coming. Why? He is too small, very innocent. He cannot understand the situation of his father. He cannot understand the emotions of his father. He is unable to reciprocate with the father's feelings. He must smile once in a while. That's all he can do. That's only reciprocation. In this material world, we often invest so much of our time, energy, and emotions in people who may not have the intention or ability to reciprocate with us. But in ignorance, we ignore people who really have the intention and ability to love us and reciprocate with us. And who is that? Guru and Krishna. It's only Krishna. It's only the spiritual master. It's only the Vaishnavas. They have an intention to reciprocate with us. And many times they have ability to reciprocate with us also. Krishna has all abilities. But even regular Vaishnavas may have some ability. And even if they don't have ability, at least they have an intention to love us. But most people in this material world who are self-centered in nature, they may neither have intention nor ability. Definitely not both all the times to reciprocate with us. But we invest all our feelings and emotions there only. Yeah, there's nothing wrong in being very affectionate towards people around us. But we need to also understand that this human life is meant to cultivate our eternal relationship with Krishna. Ignoring that relationship, ignoring or neglecting to invest our emotions and energy in that relationship with Krishna, if we keep on investing our time and emotions in other kinds of relationships, what will happen? He's only chanting Narayana, 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 Narayana to call his son. But because he chanted the 4 syllables of the holy name of the Lord, Narayana, the Supreme Lord Narayana had sent 4 Vishnudutas to protect the Yamadutas, to protect Ajamila from the Yamadutas. You see, even though Ajamila never intended to chant Narayana, intended to call the Lord thought, he's saying Narayana, that is my name, and I am not different from my name. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Suddho Nityamukto Abhinnatva Nama Namina. There is no difference between me and my name. Therefore, I have to respond, although he is calling my name. When he said Narayana, he wanted his son to come. But the son is not Narayana. but the name is Narayana. So the name responded, holy name responded. Holy name, which is not different from the Supreme Lord, responded to his call, and then 4 Vishnudutas came, cut the ropes of Yamadutas, had a long conversation with the Yamadutas, defeated them in all arguments, and saved Ajamila. That's the power of holy name. That's the power of bhakti. That's how the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam reads. Therefore, of all the most valuable things available in this material world, the most valuable thing is the name of the Supreme Lord. Holy name of the Supreme Lord. Of all the auspicious things, holy name of Krishna is the most auspicious. Of all the sweetest things, the holy name of Krishna is the sweetest. Madhura madhura metan mangalam mangalanam sakala nigama valli satphalam chitsvarupam sakridapi parigitam shraddhaya helayava bhruguvara naramatram tarayet Krishna nama. Madhura madhura metan. The holy name of Krishna is extremely sweet, of all the sweetest things. Mangalam mangalana. Of all the auspicious things, the holy name of Krishna is the most auspicious thing. Sakala nigama valli satphalam chitsvarupam. If you compare all the scriptures to a nice creeper, the holy name of Krishna is the ripened fruit of that creeper. Sakridapi parigitam. If we chant the holy name of Krishna, shraddhaya helayava. Even if you chant the name of Krishna once, with shraddha, with attention, or helana, with neglect, in either way. Bhruguvara naramatram tarayet Krishna nama. The holy name of Krishna can easily deliver us, will protect us. That's the potency of the holy name of Krishna. That can destroy not only all our sinful reactions and help us avoid entering hell, but it will also give us the greatest benediction of Krishna Prema. And the Supreme Lord Krishna descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give us Krishna Prema, the highest goal of human life, Panchama Purushartha, through the simple process of chanting Krishna Nama. Chirada dattam nijagupta vittam swaprema nama amrtamatyudaraha apamaram yo vitatara gauraha krishno janabhyastamaham prapadye. The Supreme Lord appeared. You can see behind. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is chanting with Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit and Srivas Pandit, Panchatattva. They're chanting the holy names of Krishna. Swaprema namamrutamati udaraha. The Lord is extremely udara, benevolent, audarya. So he is giving the highest gift of Krishna Prema through the easiest means of Krishna Nama. That's the power of holy name of Krishna. And Ajamila chanted without any offenses. By chanting the holy names of Krishna, we need to avoid offenses. How? Ajamila chanted without any offenses. He did so many sinful activities. Yeah. He did sins, not offenses. Ajamila never chanted the holy names of Narayana, thinking that the power of his chanting will eradicate his sinful reactions, which is an offense. Ajamila never committed sinful activities, thinking that I am chanting anyways, that will eradicate. So, seventh offense, right? To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy names, right? It has 2 parts. This offense has 2 parts, 7a and 7b. One is, you commit sins first and chant to eradicate the sinful reactions. That is one offense. Second, you chant nicely and then later, by the power of this chanting, you commit more sinful activities. Right? My previous chanting of Krishna's names has empowered me to commit sinful activities. Or, my future chanting will eradicate the sinful reactions of the actions that I am committing now. These are 2 flavors of chanting. Ajamila never committed sins, thinking that his chanting will eradicate. And Ajamila never chanted hoping that the chanting will eradicate sinful reactions. He did not do these two sins, these two offenses. So his sinful activities are on one track, his chanting is on one track, and his chanting is very affectionate. Hundreds of times he chanted. Affectionately he chanted the holy names of Krishna, Narayana. And when the Yamadutas came, he chanted with anxiety, helplessly. That anxious and helpless chanting of the holy names of Krishna and that affectionate chanting of the holy name of Narayana completely eradicated all his sinful reactions. He became, and by the way, sometimes people may think, I can do whatever I want throughout my life. At the end of the life, Ante Narayana Smriti. I'll say Narayana and I'll go back to Godhead. That's not the ultimate message of Ajamila episode. So Sukadeva Goswami clarifies, Ajamila chanted without faith. What will happen if you chant with faith? Ajamila chanted with so many sinful activities. What will happen if you chant by following four regulative principles? Ajamila chanted to call his son. What will happen if you chant to call the Lord himself? Ajamila chanted on the deathbed. What will happen if you chant throughout your life? That's how Ajamila episode is encouraging attentive and continuous chanting of the holy names of Krishna. This is how Sukadeva Goswami concludes this episode of Ajamila. We just spoke a little bit on the first two chapters of 6th canto about how bhakti is the only way to avoid hell and enter Vaikuntha, enter Goloka. It will give us Krishna Prema. And we also saw amongst all the processes of bhakti, chanting the holy names of Krishna is of special significance. In that chanting, we need to avoid offenses. And the foremost of all the offenses to the holy name is Vaishnava Parada. We should not disrespect Vaishnavas. We should honor them and thus become eligible for the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. It's beyond that.
While the Prashadam is getting heated, if there are any questions, one or two questions we can take.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank you for the very insightful lecture. Prabhuji, my question is, even though Ajamila remembered the Lord not remembered the Lord, I mean, he was calling out his son, but we also understand that, not even a blade of grass moves without the permission from the Lord, right? So from that, how should we understand? Is that Lord's intention that Ajamila calls out Narayana?
Very popular question. Not a blade of grass moves without the Lord's sanction. Means, is the Lord sanctioning all our sinful activities? All the sinful tendencies that we have, are they sanctioned by the Lord? In one sense, yes. Because Prabhupada writes in one place that without the Lord's sanction, without Paramatma's sanction, you cannot even fulfill your sense gratificatory desires. Even for that you need Paramatma. But why would this Lord sanction anything bad? That's your basic question. The answer is, the Lord has sanctioned some independence. Svecha. He is supremely independent, and we as his minute parts, fragmental parts, amshas, we are minutely independent. The Lord sanctions independence. Means whatever we do with that independence is indirectly sanctioned by the Lord. That's the sanction. Not a blade of grass moves without the Lord's sanction. Means the Lord sanctions independence as much as we desire. As much as we deserve. And we will use or misuse that independence. But if we overly misuse that independence, then the Lord will restrict that independence. When we use it properly, the Lord will expand that independence. Just like father gives some pocket money to the child. And the child is just purchasing pen or pencil or eraser and then using it for academics. Father will, oh, he's very good. He's nicely using the money. Then the father will give more money. He will trust the child and give more money also, knowing that my child will not misuse this money. But if the father sees the child smoking cigarettes with the money, pocket money given by the father, then father will cut down the pocket money. Similarly, when the living entity misuses the independence by committing sinful activities, the Lord will restrict that independence by allowing him to glide down to lower species. But if a living entity properly uses that independence, the swecha, that free will, then the Lord will expand it and elevate him to higher species and even the spiritual world, where the people are as independent as the Lord. It all boils down to our use or misuse of our independence, which is sanctioned by the Lord, but it's not that Lord is personally desiring any sinful actions to be performed or to be done. Another example I can give you. When the sun is rising in the east, you go and face the sun. You will see bright light, orange light, very beautiful. But when you turn your face away from the sun, what do you see? A big shadow in front of you. Who created the shadow? The sun created. Sun is the source of light also, sun is the source of shadow also. Without sun behind you, you cannot see shadow in front of you when you face away from the sun. Right? But when you face the sun, although shadow exists, you are not coming in contact with that shadow. Right? That's irrelevant to you. You are seeing the bright light. Similarly, the Lord, the Supreme Lord, is the source of both happiness and distress, good and bad in this world. But when we face the Lord, we only see good. Means when we worship the Supreme Lord, when we are inclined to follow the instructions of the Lord, we will only encounter good. But when we become faithless and turn our faces away from the Lord, then we will encounter all bad and inauspiciousness. So, the Lord is the cause of both. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, 10th canto, 10th chapter, 4th shloka. Buddhirjnanam asammoha kshama satyam tamah shamah. Ahimsa samata tushti tapodanam yashoishaha. Sukham dukkham bhavo bhavo bhayam cha abhayam evacha. This is the right line. Sukham dukkham bhavo abhavo. Sukham is happiness, dukkham is distress. Both are created by the Lord. Bhava means birth, abhava means death. Both are created by the Lord. Bhayam cha abhayam evacha. Bhayam is fear. Abhayam is fearlessness. Both are created by the Lord. See, the Lord has created all dualities in this world. Which aspect of duality we will come in contact with depends on our choice. How is our independence? Which is also sanctioned by the Lord. In that sense, the Lord is the cause of all causes. Sarva karana karana. But the Lord doesn't desire bad. We desire bad. The Lord says, okay, you desire bad? Fine. Just like the cook serves both spicy items and non-spicy items. You decide which one you take. Whichever suits your health. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai.
Gauranga Darshan. Hare Krishna.